Hi friends! I'm here to talk you through the Grade 2 Unit 4 End of Unit Assessment. You're coming out of Unit 3 where students are working on measurement, and that measurement unit had two main purposes. One is to expose them to measurement, but the other one is to continue to have opportunities to work with place value, tens and ones, and getting into hundreds. And connecting centimeters to meters, that metric system piece. And then the other reason for doing measurement, all of those rulers that you made, those are to set kids up for work with number lines. And that is what's happening in Unit 4. So Unit 4 is all about representing numbers on number lines and representing our thinking and equations for adding and subtracting on number lines. So here on the end of unit assessment item 1, you can see that they're identifying what number could the point represent. So they're thinking about, does that point on the number line feel closer to 0 or closer to 50, and which one of the numbers that's their choice kind of aligns with how close it is. Number 2 is an equation represented on a number line. So this is where students understanding that adding and subtracting move in different directions on the number line. They also are going to need to differentiate between the fact that I can count on to find a missing add end when I can also solve that problem by subtracting. And so really understanding that when I use a minus or subtraction symbol, I am counting back on the number line. So the tricky part of this one here is that this first question really lines up with what the students see if they just look at where things are on the number line, because first the arrow is here at the unknown, and then we see the minus 18, and then we see the 52. So that's what we see. But what it really means is that we started at 52, we subtracted 18, that's that arrow backwards, and the label tells us that we took away 18, and the unknown is going to be the answer to that subtraction problem. On number 3A, they are looking at or locating and labeling 43 and 38 on the number line. Then in B, they're explaining how to use the number line to find the value of 43 minus 38. So for this, students really need to understand that the difference or the distance between 43 and 38 is 5. And they might count that back, going back 5 all at once on the number line, or they might think of it as 3 to get to 40 and then 2 from 40 to 38. So thinking about crossing over that 10 and using a friendly number will be a really helpful strategy for students and may be helpful from the start. But with a small number like this, they might just count back 5. Here's another one. Represent each equation on the number line. So I have represented this first one, 25 plus 44, 3 different ways on the number line. Students might start at 25 and count off the decade by tens. So 10 more than 25 is 35, 10 more than 35 is 45, 10 more than 45 is 55, 10 more than that is 65, and then I could count on by ones. So I added my 4 tens, then I'm going to add my 4 ones. So besides this first solution, another way students might show the same thinking or similar thinking on a number line is this second one, where they might see that the number line is moving in increments of 5. So they might count on by 5s and then add the 4 to get to 69. This is a little bit more challenging because students are going to need to keep track of how many 5s make up the 4 10s in 40. It's a little harder to track. Another way they might do it, a third way, they might add 5 to get to 30 and then count on by tens once they get on that decade, and then they'll have to add another 5 to go from 60 to 65, and then add the 4 ones. So in this one, it's kind of in between, but they're decomposing one of the 4 tens so that they do 5 at the beginning to get to an even 10, and then 5 at the end to count on the rest of the way. In B, we see that they are doing 53 minus 17. So students might count back 10 all at once off the decade. So 53, 10 less is 43, minus 3, minus 4 to subtract 17. Another way they might do it is start at 53 and go back 3 to get to 50. And then they might do 2 5s or 1 10 and then the other 4. So any way your students do it, as long as they can show their thinking on the number line, is going to be okay. For this one, Andre, Claire, and Elena collected seashells at the beach. The number line shows how many each student collected. So I went in and labeled the points for Andre and Claire just to give clarity from the start. It might be a good practice for you to have with your students. Then who collected the most? So Claire collected the most and Elena collected the fewest. We can see that based on where they are on the number line. In B, Claire says she collected more seashells than Elena and Andre together. So do you agree with Claire? Explain or show your reasoning. So when I take Elena's 15 plus Andre's 28, I did it on a number line here and said I went from 15 to 25, 25 to 35, and then 35 to 40, and 40 to 43. And then similar thinking up here, except that I did that 8 all at once instead of breaking it apart. And for this, students need to understand that 43 is more than 37. So Claire did not collect more than Elena and Andre together. And then this last one, part C, is actually kind of silly because they're doing the same thing. If Elena went back to the beach and collected 28 more seashells, how many seashells does she have now? So instead of calculating 15 plus 28, they might do 28 plus 15, but the answer should be the same. So that is Unit 4 for Grade 2. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions.